Hello, welcome back to Why So Sidious a Nerd podcast. Today we're going to talk about Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. There was a big announcement. A huge list of cast names was revealed that are going to be in those movies, or I can't remember if it was just for Doomsday or not. But anyway, we're going to get into that and then also talk about some, just a ton of theories, questions, possible comic book connections with Secret Wars and Doomsday, just getting nerdy. Talking about, one of the most exciting Marvel projects that is coming out in the foreseeable future. We are at Why So Sidious Pod, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We've been covering a lot of Daredevil. Our Week in Geek just posted, covering some nerd news, including some DC and stuff like that. So check that out. And it's just me and Dave today. Caleb is going to be up with our Daredevil review of episode 5 and 6, and we're going to do that this weekend and hopefully release that early next week. So look out for that. That show's amazing. So let's get into it. I'm going to toss it to my co-host David here to let us know these cast members that are confirmed for the next Avenger movie.
Yeah, so we had this big announcement. We got a tweet that dropped yesterday. We had a funny interaction regarding it. But yeah, it was basically saying Marvel is poised to release a massive update tomorrow. It's said to trump the RDJ Doom announcement. This is going to be huge. So everybody's buckling in. Like, what the hell could this be? How are you going to trump RDJ's Doom announcement? That was internet breaking when that released. I mean, that was crazy. I think I was up camping and I still got news and was blown away by it and was just completely in tune with everything that was going on with it. That was huge. So when that news dropped, I was pretty skeptical yesterday. I wasn't super excited. I was just kind of like, really? Are we really going to get that big of a reveal? So they came out and we got what we thought was the entire cast reveal of Doomsday. We thought it was the entire cast because it was 27 freaking cast members that they announced during this announcement. And then afterwards, they announced saying, actually, there will be more cast members announced for Avengers Doomsday soon to come. So apparently we didn't get all of it. We thought, wow, okay, a certain few amount of people aren't going to be in it. But now we don't know that because they say they're going to release even more. But I just got to say, whoever came up with the idea of how to roll this out should for sure be fired. Probably, I don't know, 30 days in county jail or something. But just awful. So they go live and they show a casting chair. And the first name is Chris Hemsworth. And you're like, okay, so... And they didn't even reveal this is about Doomsday yet. So we got a chair with Chris Hemsworth. We're like, wow, okay. And you sit there and you wait for 15 minutes with just low, ominous music playing in this live feed, and then it switches to the next chair, and it's Vanessa Kirby. So you're like, okay, we got Thor, we got Sue Storm here. And believe it or not, they did that for 5.5 hours. Every 15 minutes, they would just shift to the right and show another name on a chair for 5.5 hours. So it felt like they were trolling us in a way. But anyways... I think we all thought it was a pretty terrible way to roll it out. But at the end of the day, we got 27 cast members announced, so we'll run through them real quick. Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, Anthony Mackie's Captain America, Sebastian Stan, Bucky, Letitia Wright's Shuri, Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell's U.S. Agent, Tenoch Huerta's Namor, Ibn Mas Bakruk's The Thing, Simu Liu's Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh's Yelena. I should have wrote down the actual character names on this list. I just have the cast names, so hopefully I can keep this rolling. Kelsey Grammer's Beast, Louis Pullman's Sentry, Danny Ramirez's Falcon, Joseph Quinn's The Human Torch, David Harbour's Red Guardian, Winston Duke's M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen's Ghost, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Ian McKellen's Magneto, Alan Cummings' Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romaine's Mystique, James Marston's Cyclops, Channing Tatum, as I would assume Gambit, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. How are they going to do this? What are your thoughts on this this release here?
Well, how are they going to do that? I mean, I'm fine with the amount. That's set. I mean, so far we're at end game level. That's fine, but we know so many more are coming. That's the thing. I just think the big news is their execution, like you explained before. How cool would this news would have been if they didn't say that this was coming and they didn't do a boring-ass video? This would have been such dope news today.
Yeah.
But instead, I don't know. Maybe it's a tactic where they did have a ton of eyes on that. You know, they had a ton of eyes. Everybody was watching. I don't know. It seems like some Walmart made Disney thing where it's like, we're going to give you something very watered down for a long time. But we know you're going to watch it, and we know that news is going to flow. Everyone's talking about it. So, I mean, there's some great news in there. It's just overshadowed by what the hell did they do it like that for? Yeah. Like, why not any explanation on like the characters, or I don't know, anything else? Anything? Just the chair. Anything. And I don't know. It's so bizarre. You know what also would have been cool if they're going to go with that boring format, some big actor, actress names that are not yet cast show up, and you're like, who the hell is you know, I don't know, Dwayne Johnson going to play?
Or Denzel Washington, or right. Something like that. Like, that's what the frustrating part. The first 80% of this was like, yeah, obviously all these people are like, oh, Paul Rudd's in it? No way. Like, nobody was freaking out seeing those. So it was just like, yeah, Anthony Mackie, no shit. Like, what are we doing here? Until they got to the X-Men part, which that was like, oh, right. Okay, interesting. They're bringing back the entire Fox X-Men universe, it seems, for this movie, short of Jean Grey and Storm. I mean, they pretty much brought back all the main casts. So that was wild. Yeah. But so that, I think that was the part that got, I think, seeing Tenoch Huerta's name as Namor, Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Those first two was like, oh, okay, those are the first two exciting things I've seen. And then when they rattled off 5 or 6 X-Men in a row. But I think we both had a problem with the Thunderbolts announcements. I think if you're going to wait on releasing even more casts, maybe you should have waited on the Thunderbolts, because now we know they all live, because you literally named off every single one of them except for Taskmaster. It's the only one they didn't name off. Maybe, so probably gonna die. Like, sick. It's just like, weird thing to drop all the Thunderbolts names right off the bat. But hey,
yeah, one of the most cultishly liked characters in Taskmaster, compared to how it was just butchered and handled. So I never thought of killing them off. Now I kind of expect that character to die.
Right. I thought we might get Jonathan Majors at the end. I honestly did. I thought maybe that was going to drop, which would have been a crazy, okay.
Do you think that would be very, very controversial?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but
I'd be fine with it. I'm good. Like, I don't know. You never know what he really did, but actually, wasn't there some?
I think he's in the clear now.
There was some audio that suspiciously could have been AI, but it was like he was on tape saying, "Yeah, I slapped you," or something like that. Recently, it was like a week ago. Anyway,
was it? Yeah, I didn't even see that. Yeah, I don't know. But Channing Tatum being brought back is interesting. But I also, the other big thing we didn't mention here, Tom Hiddleston. So Loki is going to show up in this. I have some thoughts on that, which will come up later too, regarding some questions you may have. But I thought that was a cool reveal, seeing Tom Hiddleston's name.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. I was glad to see Shuri as Black Panther. I liked it more than most. I think you also did.
Yeah.
Shuri, I'm really excited, especially because of Namor. I really hope they do that Namor Shuri. I hope they keep that feud going. Yeah. Who else was exciting? I'm glad to see Thor's back, because we don't have no confirmation on anything with him coming back.
True.
I'm looking for Ryan Reynolds. I'm looking for Hugh Jackman, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Like, those would have been really crazy reveals. I think that would have made it kind of worth it. I think the X-Men were still big reveals. By the way, would you have been more excited if it was James McAvoy and Fassbender, or are you more excited with Stewart and McAvoy?
I think I would have been more excited about Fassbender and McAvoy, as like blasphemous as that may sound, just because. No. Bro, I've seen Ian McKellen lately, and he is a legend. He's one of my all-time favorites. He's Gandalf. He's an absolute top of the top. I would never disrespect him, but the man is getting old. And I don't know what we're going to see out of a Magneto who is that. Obviously they can use CGI. They have pretty solid effects. But I want to see Fassbender's rage one more time. I want to see that Magneto let loose one more time with the MCU characters. Like, right. I would have been more excited about that.
With the MCU characters was my point. Like, it's great to see the legends, the legacy, but we also have Ian McKellen super old, so that's iffy. But then we've done it with Stewart, with Logan, and even Doctor Strange 2. But I want to see those acting chops of James McAvoy in a room with RDJ, yeah, Doctor Doom's still here. I was going to say I
Yes.
can't do Iron Man, but like, those Fassbender and the acting chops with, a Chris Evans, like I want to see that. They're all in their prime, so I really want to see them together. That would be more exciting for me. And the rage at Fassbender as Magneto is just one of the best.
Dude, McAvoy with Hiddleston's Loki, like
Man.
kind of somehow oh my god, I just freaking love that. That would be awesome. But
Yeah, I mean Ryan Reynolds and Fassbender, the contrast, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I guess we got that with Wolverine and Fassbender to an extent, but not obviously. Deadpool's a whole nother level. So yeah, it's the same thing with Hugh Jackman, Tobey Maguire. I think those reveals, I think they're either coming out in the next wave or maybe they're saving them for Secret Wars. Maybe everybody gets their ass whooped in Doomsday, and then Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman come in and are kind of trying to set things right in Secret Wars when everybody's at Battleworld. Maybe they're saving them. I don't know. But I think they're going to come back regardless in one of these next two movies. I think we'll see Tobey and Hugh both.
Yeah. And I was going to say, we're going to keep coming back to the cast, but I'm peppering in some of these questions because this episode has theories, questions, all types of fun stuff, and we're going to just jump back and forth. But since you brought up the ending of Doomsday, one of the questions is, do you think Doomsday will end much like the first issue of Secret Wars, which was basically the last incursion where the Ultimate Universe and the 616 have to face off, and it turns into Battleworld, and we find out Doom was behind it, and the villains had some life raft stuff, the heroes had ways to escape, this and that, and then issue 2 we're in Battleworld. Do you think, regardless of how finite the details or whatever, if that made any sense, no, but do you think Doomsday will end like that?
I do. No, I got exactly what you're saying, because I do. I think that's exactly how it's going to roll out. I have a whole kind of sequence in mind for the end of the movie, and it correlates with, a question that's going to come up here. But I do. I think it's going to end with that, with Doom becoming all-powerful or whatever the case may be, and sending them to Battleworld and his quest for God Emperor, whether he's already it by the end of the movie or about to become it. I guess my theory kind of has him becoming it at the very end. But yes, I think the heroes lose. They get sent to Battleworld at the end of this, and then we pick up there in Secret Wars.
Yeah, I think so. It's you kind of run the risk of the Russo brothers having a legacy of having a sequel always, or the first one of their sequel, whatever, the first of the duo, the heroes losing. And that's, it's just executed so perfectly. It almost doesn't matter. I mean, go ahead, do it. If it's done right, it's fine. But at the same time, that will be a part of their legacy.
Straight up.
But Loki. So he's sitting on his chair. Just plugging in, sorry.
Yeah.
What kind of role can this dude play in his chair? I mean, obviously it's like super gigantic and important. But how much can you really do in that chair? What more can you do besides have Doctor Doom? You know what? What if the last climactic battle, we might have talked about this before, is the Avengers defending Loki on his chair, and the armies coming to get him, kill him, something, replace him, and Doom is sending his armies, and the whole Avengers crew, all the armies of whatever, is just sitting there, and they can't get to Loki. It's like defending that button in Age of Ultron at the end.
Yeah. I haven't even thought about that possibility. That'd be pretty wild. I think we're gonna see Loki at the very end. I think we're gonna see him at the end. And it's a theory I dropped, I don't know, a month or two ago back about Doom's role and everything. Where it comes to the comics, where Doom rips out Thanos' spine. He goes, "Do you have the Infinity Gauntlet?" And Thanos goes, "No, but I'm Thanos, the great tyrant. And that'll be enough for you." And Doom just rips his spine out and goes, I forget, what's the line? He goes something like, "Evidently it wasn't. Like, it wasn't enough for me." He rips the dude's spine out. And so my theory was he's going to do something similar to Loki, take over the timeline, and that's how he's going to ascend to this almost god-level status of being the god of time, Doom, God Emperor Doom, and that's how he's going to roll into Secret Wars there. So that's my theory, is Loki's going to come in at the end and Doom's going to actually take Loki out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that really could kind of eliminate some variables from the next question. And that has to do with how he becomes Emperor God Doom. And that's like, in the comics, he uses Molecule Man. And I'm not even going to try to describe how the hell what are they doing? I mean, they're, whatever. But it's Molecule Man. in the MCU, I think Wanda is the perfect replacement for Molecule Man. Somehow her reality warping powers can be something that Doom is chasing, which we have seen in the Children's Crusade, which we did cover on this podcast. And we must have related it to the MCU. There's so many things about that comic that already relate to the MCU, finding Wanda's children. Anyway, so that's a possibility. Or, I don't know who else could be, but if that's the case, though, Loki could be that guy that replaces the Molecule Man instead of Wanda. So Scarlett Johansson, Elizabeth Olsen just recently said, like, as a matter of fact, she's not coming back to the MCU. Of course, that could be a lie. That always happens. But I don't know why you would lie, because we kind of expect her to anyway. It's not like it'd be a big hidden thing. But anyway, I'm just rambling at that point. So it could just be Doom straight to Loki. It could involve some extra power stuff with Wanda or another character. Do you think there's any other character that could possibly fit into that role?
So no, so that was my theory there.
Loki,
with
yeah.
Loki, but in the comics, right? Strange was there during the whole Molecule Man situation, so maybe Strange somehow tries to intercept Doom as he's going to Loki, and his magic involved with Loki's whole deal, that combination. One would make more sense because she's reality bending. She can create stuff out of thin air, kind of like Molecule Man to an extent. Loki doesn't necessarily have that. Yeah, I know he's the god of time, but it's a different thing. But I just think we get a lot of variations of stuff from the comics. It's not always, well, a lot of the times actually, it's not page for page the exact same thing that happens. They just take inspirations and change a little. So yeah, my bet is rolling with Loki, and maybe Strange is there too at the end, and Doom defeats him, takes over, and we're just left with Doom being this all-powerful god of time, God Emperor Doom.
Yeah, for sure. But and then if Wanda is back, that brings us totally full circle from Multiverse of Madness, which really started this multiversal journey, even bleeding into Spider-Man, which came out before. But that's still, Doctor Strange is in there. That leads to Wanda. And America Chavez, she's got to play a gigantic role, probably, with her reality jumping powers. I mean, that is the bridge. True. That's literally the bridge, bro. That's what Reed created. Her powers are what Reed really desired. That's why he created the bridge. So she could be heavily involved.
Well, and remember, Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before Spider-Man. So it was supposed to start with Doctor Strange, and then the strikes and everything, and then they ended up releasing it before. So it was initially supposed to start with all of that, though. So that's a valid point.
It was initially supposed to have America Chavez opening the portals that Ned ended up opening in Spider-Man.
Yes. Yep.
So that was supposed to be America Chavez.
And instead, we got some weird sorcerer story with that.
Right.
His family did magic in the past or something.
Right. I just feel like it seems like a beginning of their story, and then the full circle thing is to bring America Chavez, Wanda, and Doctor Strange back somehow and some way or another. I don't believe she's not coming back. She's coming back.
No, that whole red explosion thing there. Yeah. I think she's messing with people. But dude, wouldn't that be great if it did come full circle? Because it feels like it's been a while since we've had full circle moments like that. Yeah. Like that was the old first three phases of the MCU. We had so many cool full circle moments, and it feels like it's been kind of all over the place. So it would feel like a return to format if we were to get something like that where it just fits so well.
100%.
So I hope they do that.
Even Cap 4 kind of went that direction, bringing it full circle with the Hulk, which I appreciated. Yeah. That was like the coolest part of that movie in a big kind of perspective.
Most intertwined we've kind of seen, really. A lot of the most recent movies.
Right. All right, so we didn't talk about the casting of Namor, which I think is super exciting. I think he's literally the best villain that we've been introduced to since Thanos. I think so. I mean, William Dafoe, I'd say, might have been better on screen, but it's not an introduction. Namor's awesome. I can't wait for him to play a role. He was in a huge feud with Black Panther. I hope that carries over, because that did happen in the movies. That was all of Black Panther too. So, yes or no, do you think Shuri and Namor will continue their feud leading up to Secret Wars, or will that play a role in Avengers at all?
I hope they're still in the feud, and I hope we get to see them have to make some kind of pact that leads to the Illuminati of some sort. I hope that leads into that naturally. I would hate to come back to it and they just have a truce and they're like, we talked it through, we're good. Like, no, that whole head-to-head battle between Wakanda and Atlantis, which now, Talocan, I think it's called in the MCU. It's great. Like, there's so many opportunities for great storylines there. So I really hope they keep that feud between those nations.
Yeah, and it just brings such a fun element of, your heroes inner conflict. It's just kind of a fun story element there. And it was so dramatic in the comics, which made it cool. Anyway, that leads to the next one. Do you think the 616 will form an Illuminati?
Absolutely do. That was one of my first thoughts going through my head with this casting dropping. I mean, we got Namor is going to be there. We got Professor X is going to be there. We have Beast. We have Shuri. Who else was in the cast list that could have fallen within the Illuminati there? I think there's one more. Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards.
Yes.
Mr. Fantastic. So we've got 4 or 5 Illuminati members right there already. Depending on who they announce for the future stuff there. You know, I don't know. Looking at the cast list, I don't think there'd be anybody new that they would pull in. So, yeah, you know, I don't think Loki will be a part of it. Maybe they make Magneto, but, you know, maybe they go the Cabal route, too, with Magneto being in here. I don't know. Dr. Doom and Namor there. I think they're at least going to do one of them, but I'm pretty confident about the Illuminati aspect. They already teased it, you know, in Multiverse of Madness. I think they got to do the real one now.
Okay, so then yes or no? Do you think Namor will get in bed with Doctor Doom or the villains in a cabal? See, like, I don't picture a Thanos cabal like the comics. It was like the Black Order or Thanos. But I think there will be some kind of villain cabal. I hate that name. It's like penultimate. I got over that one, though. Will Namor get in bed with Doctor Doom? Will he play two sides? Will he be on the Illuminati and also be a villain?
Dude, you know, I almost want to say no, and I don't know if it's just because of the way he was acted. I feel like the Namor we saw, I feel like I don't see him, unless it has to do with the survival of Talocan, I guess. Doom has him in a corner, is like, your people are dead unless you help here, and then he's has to kind of, that's the only way I can kind of see that working out, but they could do that.
I was going to say no, but I was leaning, it was hard, I was in the middle. That explanation makes me want to say yes. That he will side with them, but it'll be like morally, like we might all kind of make that decision because Doctor Doom's going to do something pretty messed up or threaten something pretty messed up.
Yeah, and we saw the ultimate loyalty he has to his people above all. It's the reason he attacked Wakanda. It's the reason he went after Riri Williams. All that stuff was defend his people. So I think that... by the way, real quick in the chat there, Unlimited Power saying, where's Spidey and Wanda at? Shake my head. SMH, little abbreviation there for you.
Spidey and Wanda.
I don't know. Again, maybe they're the rescue team that comes in during Secret Wars there, and Wanda's got to come out of the retirement from the grave and kick some ass. I don't know.
I think she's either not in the movie or she's involved in Doctor Doom's plans. I think Spider-Man's going to be one of the biggest characters, but what is he really going to do in the terms of like Doctor Doom? I really hope they write him. Some way you could write him doing something super important. He has so much potential. Please write please the most amazing Spider-Man moment ever. That'd be so sick. Write a cool way for him to fit in. It'll just be hard, you know, with reality warping, multiversal shit.
Right, but the two part of that. So first part, yes, I think so. Spider-Man 4 comes out after Doomsday, I believe. So maybe they leave him out of this. We get Spider-Man 4, we get Miles Morales introduced, and then they both come into Secret Wars, just like in the comics. We get Miles Morales joining in, and he comes in with Peter. So A, that's my first part. I think maybe that happens. And B, about Wanda, I know you mentioned it like 5 minutes ago, and for some reason my brain just didn't click. But yeah, I kind of actually want to go with Wanda shows back up under Doom's control. Like, we get a reveal towards the end of the movie that he's got Wanda in his corner kind of deal, like in Children's Crusade. Like, I feel really good about that theory right there. So that'd be cool. That'd be a wild way, a reveal. RDJ is controlling Wanda at the end. Like, that'd be wild.
Right. And it seems like they're building her up to be a focal point of this saga era.
Did a whole show for her, like showed her she's the strongest being in the entire universe. She's a Nexus being. I mean, all this stuff. You're not just gonna bail on her now.
No, we didn't even consider that. I mean, we talked about No Way Home and Doctor Strange, but WandaVision was the first thing to come out after the first Disney Plus show ever. It totally. I mean, that started at WandaVision, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Multiverse, and then she's the villain in Doctor Strange 2. Anyway, we've covered it a lot, but she's got to play a role.
Yeah. And sorry, last Cap and Trips in the chat as well. It says Alan Cumming. Now that's crazy. I was stoked when I saw that name pop up. I loved him. So he's in X-Men 2. I don't think he's in X-Men 3, X2 is X-Men United. I don't think he's in X3 Last Stand, but he's awesome.
Sorry, just, his intro scene in X-Men 2 is sick. I mean, he's in the White House.
The White House.
People, yeah.
So sick. No, they used him great. Nightcrawler was one of the dopest aspects of X2, and X2 is the best movie of that original trilogy, so stoked to have him back.
And on that topic, do you think Photon will recruit the X-Men into the hero's cause? We saw Photon in the end credit of the Marvels, and she met Kelsey Grammer's Beast, who was confirmed on this cast list. So obviously he's playing a big role. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in an end credit like that. So yeah, do you think she's going to recruit him onto our side?
Dude, love it. Never once considered that. Never once considered that. And as soon as I saw that on your notes list there, I'm 100% in on that. That makes perfect sense. Like, absolutely. That we have this. We're getting all these X-Men brought over now. Kelsey Grammer was the Beast we saw there. Yes, he was CGI, not practical. But obviously, that could very well explain the universal crossover there. So I'm like 100% on board with that theory. I would put money on it if I could.
Yeah. It's either that or they're already tracking the incursions. And, well, same thing. And then they help us and they already know. That actually is the same exact thing. Stupid. Yeah, I think it's very likely, especially with all that. With all the new cast members, it's definitely that X-Men crew. So I guess she did go into that universe. I wonder if it's that official universe, which I think is like, it's like 161000 or something weird like that. Anyway, I wonder if it is that universe or a universe that is basically identical, but it's not the same technically.
Right.
That's annoying that's even a conversation.
Yeah, well, it's there now. But yeah, did they ever? So were you saying they announced it in the MCU as that universe number you were saying, the 1600?
No, it's a
okay.
Google thing.
Okay, because I'm looking now too. Because I thought there was like a subtitle that showed
Me too.
Earth dash something, but I'm looking through it and I don't see anybody saying that's the case. So must have imagined it. Anyways.
Yeah. Do you still think, or do you think yes or no, incursion, Fantastic Four ends with an incursion? That's why they escape, or no?
I'm gonna go no on that one.
Okay.
I forgot what my thought was on how that ended. I mean, I think they get. I think they're finding their way back to their home universe. They got dipped out, and they're in this universe we find them in this movie. But I don't know that an incursion would cause that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a connection there with Galactus coming in and the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I wonder what if he's gathering energy to like. Maybe he knows about the incursions and he's eating extra planets to power up or something.
Yeah.
It's annoying that I think it would work perfectly, but I still don't think it'll happen.
It would make sense though, and it would tie in. You've already teased these incursions so much, you might as well continue to utilize it in the story there. So,
yeah,
I think they can make it happen.
Speaking of incursions, will we have found out, like in the comics, that Doctor Doom was behind the incursions, or will his plight start with his on-screen time, if that makes sense? Like, will his journey start on screen, or will we find out that he's been behind the incursions this whole time? Because I think that's how something like that was in the comics. Like, it was like the Black Swan was worshiping Rabam Al-Al, who was causing the incursions, and we found out it was Doom.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he was causing the incursions or fighting to stop them, though.
I think he was actually fighting to stop them. That rings more of a bell, but I totally forgot that their whole worshiping deity ended up being Doom at the end of it all. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah. So
I
it's kind of strange.
I think it's going to be a him trying to stop it deal. Like you said, what was that quote RDJ had? Different mask, same task or something like that. Same task.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's what he said on stage. Different mask, same task. What was Iron Man's task, right? Saving the world. So, I mean, this sounds like he's going to want to save the multiverse. Like Dave said, he's probably stopping the incursions. And Ultron, figuratively, Ultron gone wrong. His Ultron in this universe is some kind of dark magic for himself, his gear. That's what Doctor Doom is. He's a blend of sorcery, a lot of dark magic, which someone like Doctor Strange avoids. at all costs. But it's dark magic mixed with his Iron Man level tech. So, I mean, what if he wanted to create an Ultron, but it has something to do with dark magic, and he becomes Doom and corrupted? But his goal is to save the world, and he probably does actually get pretty productive at saving the world, but he does it in really brutal ways. You know, his methods are bad.
It'll probably be one of those things where it's like, maybe we see a little backstory on what's motivating him to save the world. I don't know, one of those things. And you see him as a villain, then he kind of explains his point, and he becomes a sympathetic villain. You go, oh, shoot, okay, I kind of see where I'm coming from. Maybe he is trying to help, and then at the end of it all, he reveals, yes, I was trying to help, but I also want all power as well. And kind of one of those, like, flip, and you're like, oh, nope, he is a scumbag, son of a gun. We shouldn't have trusted this guy. And then we lead into Secret Wars, I don't know.
It's like if Thanos killed half of life and made himself the king of that remaining half
instead
of life.
Instead of going to the garden. He was like, you know what? I think I can run these guys. I think I'll stay here.
Yeah. His purpose was done. Yeah, but Doom's going to want to control it all. That's him. He wants power. It's ego. That's what separates him from Thanos. It's like, it's Thanos
pure ego.
With a giant ego. Like, just pure ego.
Constantly out to prove that he is better. Like, that's his whole, it's a psychological deal with Doom. He has to prove that he is superior. So
I think you just nailed that arc. In a way, he will save the universe. But he made himself. Yeah, he made himself, whatever, like you said.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. We got this figured out.
I think we know what's happening here.
All right. So Sue Storm, she was the second name to be introduced. In the spoiler alert for the Secret Wars comics, my apologies for not doing that before. Issue 1 of Secret Wars ends with her trying to save the life raft in one way or another, sacrificing herself, dies. Reed Richards loses his wife, and that's pretty tragic. And do you think that Doomsday could end like that, or maybe even Fantastic Four? And I just want to cut into that thinking, what a crazy way to tie us emotionally to this character, this couple, and then rip her away from us. That emotional impact to seeing her right by the side of Doctor Doom, like we saw in those photos, those leaked set photos, or the concept art. And that's how it is in the comics. Reed comes to Battleworld to find his wife is with another man. She's with Doom. And like she thinks that's who her husband is, something like that. That would be pretty crazy to get us connected to these characters and then have her Marvel fake death universe, right? They always do this anyway. Kill her off, you think she's gone, they escape in an incursion. And his wife is next to the villain, so do you think that's likely?
I think it could be. I think they might do one or the other. I think they'll either do the Sue Storm thing with Doom or they'll do the Wanda thing with Doom. I don't know if they'll do both with him controlling two different female characters like that and just straight up keeps having the dimes of the MCU being under his will. So I think they'll for sure do one of them. Doom's a big polygamy guy. I think they'll do one or the other. My vote would go with Wanda, but I'm not against the Sue Storm thing.
I'm going to leave you to get all the way off my back about that. And by back, of course, I mean his cock. Had to do a little bit of both. Let's get it. All right, sorry about that for explicit purposes. All right, so I think we got Doom figured out already. Yeah. So let's talk about side characters. And so do you think we could see any of these guys? If they're all from the comics in this Secret Wars era. We're going to go with Black Swans. I think she seems very cinematic, and she's kind of the character that tells you what the hell's going on. The Black Order, coming back, Thanos' dudes. That would kind of imply Thanos is coming back, but we kind of have rumors King Thanos is coming back. Anyway, Skrulls. Do you think we'll see Skrulls? Because I thought they were going to forget about Skrulls, but spoiler alert for Daredevil Born Again, they mentioned Skrulls in Daredevil Born Again, so Skrulls are still in the universe, and they're still acknowledging them. Yeah. Or any other big galactic civilizations. I don't know, Shi'ar. There was another one obviously like Black Priests or whatever the hell the other ones are.
The Builders and the... who
are the Builders too, my God. Yeah. Anyway.
I like the Black Swan idea, and immediately Anya Taylor-Joy comes to mind for who you could cast her as.
Dude.
So go ahead and chalk that up in the books there, Kevin. Outside of that, I think, the Skrulls thing was interesting. I think I think you either got to lean into it now or you got to abandon ship, because I think they've done a really piss poor job at doing the scrolls up to this point. They've built it up a lot and haven't really shown that they know what the hell their plan is with the scrolls. So either you make a big move with them and you have them showing up here, or you just abandon them at this point, because I don't know, they've really kind of fumbled the scrolls situation there. I don't want to see them abandoned, because I think, again, it opens opportunities for some cool storylines. But then again, maybe we're past that point. I don't know. But I like the Black Swan thing. Do you want the scrolls around? Okay.
No, I'm totally with you. Either fully commit. They deserve a full phase, though, to be honest. It would be such a fun spy thriller. You don't know who's who. It created such a fun environment in the comics, and you could play with that through every single title on Earth. Yeah. Fuck, they're in space, too. I just think you would have to commit to a full phase. I don't think... otherwise, whatever. I don't care.
I think Secret Invasion Season 1 really hurt that. It really was a waste of a shot there. Like, you could have done so much more with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are we going to see Homegirl show up? Emilia Clarke's character, the all-powerful scroll.
That's what I was just going to say.
Okay, I totally forgot about her until right now.
I was actually just going to say, as long as we don't see the multi-powered Daenerys. That was terrible. That was terrible.
I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
All the time, evidently. I just remembered it.
Okay, so side characters. If there's no Thor force, which in the comics it was a peacekeeping force for Doctor Doom, basically his military. It's an aspect I didn't love the first 2 times I've read it, and I'm reading it today, and it's something that I'm actually loving diving into. I'm actually paying attention, so I think I might like this event a lot more overall, because my least favorite part is becoming interesting. Anyway, do you think, let's just get past my reading life, if the Thor force is not in Secret Wars, I don't see them being on screen like that. Think of a replacement to be Doom's peacekeeping force. DC examples could be like Green Lanterns or Amazonians, fucking Ultron bots, anything.
That was my first thought there. So, I don't think they're gonna do the Thor force. I think it'd be really hard to not make it a little goofy on-screen live action. I think it'd really be tough. So I would skip the Thor force, but a good replacement. My first thought is Ultron bots, because I still believe Ultron's coming back. I think there was even an announcement over the last few months that made me feel like justified in that take. I thought something about James Spader was released. So
he's coming back.
Ultron bots, or
it could be Tony bots. It could be Doom. Well, Doom bots. Oh my god,
right.
Doom bots. We're ridiculous, but yeah, of course.
Especially
it's
since
bots.
We haven't seen them yet. Like, that's the perfect time to introduce them to this whole thing and get all these Doom bots. And that works a lot better than the Thor Force on screen. So yeah. What if he got to the X-Men universe that we're pulling everybody from? And he somehow has all the X-Men, Fox Universe X-Men doing his bidding, and we get a low-key kind of Avengers versus
Cabal.
X-Men within the Doomsday deal there.
And
they have to
there's
fight
the Cabal.
Exactly.
That too.
Maybe, again, a little cram of a bunch of different comic stories just shoved together, but... maybe, I don't know.
Because it's clearly a bunch of villains for the X-Men and Avengers. They're all going to be fighting each other. We're going to see Avengers fighting X-Men villains and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Reed Richards. So
Reed
did a lot of important stuff there leading up to Secret Wars. He built a life raft, which helped a bunch of characters survive the last incursion. He also built a bridge to peek into other universes leading up to Secret Wars to kind of study these incursions. Will we see the life raft? Will we see the bridge? Will we see both? Will we see neither?
Sorry, remind me the life raft. I know.
It's just the ship that they were on in the first issue of Secret Wars when they survived the last incursion, and those heroes, stuck around.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a variation of that. I think the bridge would be a cool thing, though. I think out of all those, that's the thing I want to see most, because it was the thing that was most interesting to read about. It was one of those things that Hickman wrote it very well, where it was just like you're reading these diagrams and charts and this explanation behind the science behind it and all this stuff, and it was super interesting, I remember. So I would like to see that, and I think that'd be the coolest to do on screen. What was the third one? Sorry, the life raft, the bridge.
Well, there's just those two things, and the options where both will be on screen or neither.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with both.
Okay. Yeah, I think both as well. I think the life draft will be what differentiates Thanos' snap. There's going to be the same moment in Doomsday. The ending moment will be the Thanos snap, but instead of it being purely random, our lead heroes for the next movie will have a chance to escape. It'll differentiate it from just like, okay, who's going to die? No, you can't do anything about it. Who's going to die? To, holy shit, who's going to make it on this ship? Who's going to make it out alive? So I think that's for sure happening. I think both, for sure. I think Bridge, I might not. I'm going to take the Bridge out. I'm going to take the Bridge. There's not enough movies. There's not enough movies or not enough time to really explore a ton of different universes, introduce a ton of different heroes, or maybe that's a big part of Doomsday. Maybe that's why there are so many characters. Maybe that the Bridge is the big part of Doomsday. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
true. Well, I think with all those characters, I think a lot of them are going to be very small roles in the movie, little brief stops for whoever we're following around as the main character.
Yeah, most of them. For sure. All right. Let's get a little bit out of theory and just like step back, think about what's been going on in the Marvel movies, and what do you think the best 3 MCU movies have been since Endgame? No Way Home is off the list. Obviously, that's the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, sorry about that to interrupt, but also after that, guess what your top 3 movies will be when Doomsday comes out. Before Doomsday comes out, what will be the top 3, do you think?
Oh, okay. So top 3 as of now, and then top 3 including Brave New World, Thunderbolts, or I guess Brave New World still count because it's been out, but including Thunderbolts and what we're going to get before Doomsday. Okay. I think it's just Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Is that right?
I believe so. And then Spider-Man 4 is after that.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see here. We got...
Wow.
Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and then Doomsday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to see that life raft, I think, maybe in the end of Fantastic Four, maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, top 3 since Endgame. Take away No Way Home. I think I'm gonna have to go Love and Thunder, Quantumania, and The Marvels as my top 3. They were all knocked out of this far. No, so I believe it or not, I don't have Deadpool and Wolverine on my list. Even though I really enjoyed it, I'm having issues with that movie. It was good. It was very entertaining, and it was great to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
I get it.
But there's just not a lot of substance to it.
Right.
It's just kind of even the action. It's just flashy fun. Yeah. So as a whole, it's like it's hard for me to put it up just because it was just kind of a fun gag to do. So my top 3 is actually Shang-Chi, because I really enjoyed that when it first came out. It was very unique. It was the first time we kind of dove into that type of hero. Wakanda Forever, I really loved it. Again, we've talked about it enough. Namor and Shuri and everything we got, and that was awesome. And Guardians Volume 3, which is probably my favorite since Endgame.
Damn it. Should have taken
Guardians
it off the
Volume
list.
3 was just incredible. Yeah,
amazing.
If I had to take that off, Multiverse of Madness would come in next. But Guardians 3 is my top out of all of them since Endgame.
Well, right, of course, Guardians, then number 2 after No Way Home. Maybe even better than I think I like it more than No Way Home, to be honest. So anyway, that's 2. But
it's tough. Yeah,
I'm going to pick the other 3 then still, and that's Captain America 4. I actually think that was pretty solid.
There you go.
And then it was Wakanda Forever, and then Doctor Strange 2. I like those 3 a lot, so it's about it. I don't really like the other ones. Deadpool and Wolverine, of course. I think the rewatchability for me puts it higher on my list than yours, because I really still like to rewatch it.
Straight up.
Yeah, and I think that it will be take away Guardians and Spider-Man, because that's just so good. But I think it will be Fantastic Four, and I think it will be Thunderbolts, and that's just such optimistic, hopeful thinking. But what's going on behind the scenes, I really like. Anyway, I think it'll be Fantastic Four, that, and then I would have to. So what's Doctor Strange or Wakanda Forever?
If Guardians is out,
right.
Okay.
I would probably say Doctor Strange 2. It's tough. Yeah, I'll do Doctor Strange 2.
Okay. I guess I would go. I think I'm keeping Wakanda Forever up there. Again, it hits all the emotions.
Me too.
It makes me cry. It's
underrated, dude.
I just don't get the backlash. I freaking love that movie. And I loved it on the rewatch. I got just as emotional. I have no shame in saying I thought that movie was great. So Wakanda Forever is going to stay up there. I'm kind of with you. I think Thunderbolts. God, is it going to beat Shang-Chi and Multiverse of Madness? That's a question for me. I think it could definitely beat Shang-Chi. Man, I don't know if it can beat Multiverse of Madness just because of the premise right now that we're dealing with the Thunderbolts and Sentry. We don't really know a lot, but I think it will be entertaining. I'm gonna go Wakanda Forever, Fantastic Four, and Shang-Chi.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I like Shang-Chi a lot. It's just the second half of it really. I love the first half, and then after that last nighttime fight scene, everything past that, it's really downhill.
Even saying it now, when I'm thinking about both movies in my head, I probably did enjoy Multiverse of Madness more overall. I think there's more to like out of that. There's a lot more stuff, Wanda and the Illuminati and everything else that's going on compared to Shang-Chi. Amazing hand-to-hand combat fights, but yeah, I keep forgetting Awkwafina's entire role in that and a lot of the goofiness. I love the Trevor Slattery stuff, but yeah, maybe I'd put Shang-Chi a little too high. I'm having an epiphany right now. Sorry.
I think that way about Wakanda Forever. I might have to choose that instead. Anyway, God, we didn't even talk about Sentry being in Doomsday, and like, God.
Oh,
that's wild. I mean, of course, but at the same time, that power level against Doom is interesting. It brings such an interesting, unpredictable dynamic,
dude.
And
no idea how that's gonna work.
Seeing his power levels, I want to see him interact with other characters. Seeing how strong he is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, was Sentry in Secret Wars at all?
I don't think so.
I don't remember him being in anything other than
the shit you read is like his only comic book stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It's like
so yeah, that's interesting. So maybe Doom takes over the Void. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. By the way, I'm going to revamp the Novice Nerd who is Sentry for this movie and just kind of redo it. I could replace the audio file. It'll still be where it's at. It'll just be a different audio file, so it's going to be way better. And I already redid half of it. It's going to be cleaner. Anyways, look out for that figure out who Sentry is. Last question. So we have what's left? Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, freaking A, and Disney Plus shows Ironheart though, Wonder Man. Daredevil. But my question for you is, what three semi-major characters that we already know that have already been introduced will we see before Doomsday? These characters, that don't have a movie or an obvious role in another movie. Do you think, or if any, do you think we'll see any big character unexpected before Doomsday?
Before Doomsday?
Yes. Basically, that would require a big known cameo in Thunderbolts. Or a Disney Plus show, Ironheart. I could see a big cameo in Ironheart. Somebody.
So that's what I'm looking up right now, and I totally forgot. Ironheart comes out in like 2 or 3 months, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, June 24th, and I had no idea. I thought it was canceled, kind of like most recently.
Seriously.
I saw a post. It was like Ironheart drops summer 2025. I was like, oh, it's happening still. Wow. Okay. Ironheart could have Mephisto. But
ooh,
did you say a big character we've already seen or a new?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's open it up. Either one. I love that Mephisto shit. We keep hearing he's never coming. Let's be honest. Fuck off, new rock stars.
Right. Well, and we've got Wonder Man, December 2025 is what's set to release. So there could be something that pops up in there.
Wanda and freaking Wanda. Right. I don't think she's showing up, but they did have a love connection. So I wonder if that's going to play into anything. I wonder if he's going to play into anything. Like if his cast was revealed in today, I'd be like, oh shit, weird. I'm not a fan. Yeah, I don't like Wonder Man.
I just can't picture Elizabeth Olsen dating Wonder Man in this universe.
No.
It's hard to, especially with Vision and everything. Like, no, she's not dating some actor.
It just adds another Wanda heavy element. It's just like, right? I don't think it'll play into it. It's just another thing to add to the Wanda list.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with this. I really want Moon Knight to show up in Daredevil somehow by the end of it. I really want to see Moon Knight, brother. Just show us Moon Knight,
First of all, spoiler alert, full spoiler alert.
Yep.
Miss Marvel's dad.
Yeah.
Dude,
that was cool.
I never expected that. I never even saw the show. That's a great MCU phase 1 through 3. Like, I never wanted to watch a show. I want to now. Because it's just fun. It's fun how they did that. I like that character a lot. Her dad was delightful.
He was great.
we're not going to review. That's a fun episode, though.
No, but I agree though. The whole
Get it?
I got genuine joy out of that. I was like,
Yeah.
this feels cool. I like this, and it didn't feel corny over the top. It worked. Again, we'll cover it when we cover that episode. But I'm totally with you. I thought that was a cool interconnective tissue there that we got out of that. And so obviously Miss Marvel will probably be brought in by the end of the season. I don't think that's a major return reveal for me. But maybe her and Kate Bishop, we last saw Kate Bishop recruiting her, so maybe we see a few of the young Avengers pop back in at the end of Daredevil.
Yes. True.
And also, again, spoiler alert, we saw Kate Bishop's stepdad in the most recent episode.
Yeah.
So we had two different things where it was like, oh, back to back, like, and it was again like smooth. It wasn't forced in.
Right.
It made sense. He's a New York elite. Like, yeah.
And the point of all that is they're doing unexpected cameos in Daredevil already, so you could expect somebody in Daredevil like Kate Bishop and Daredevil. You know, they talked about the Young Avengers in California. Like Kate Bishop said, friends in California, and an end credit scene to Kamala. And then her dad is talking about her and with friends in California, like they're the freaking Teen Titans. I mean, so they are playing into Young Avengers and Daredevil.
Bro, how nice is it to just have cameos back?
Yeah.
Like just can't. That's not spoiled. It's just a surprise. Like, oh, it's that guy. Like, it's a simple joy, Marvel, and we missed out on it for a minute there. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I got White Vision on my list in Ironheart. Specifically in Ironheart, because we heard James Spader's coming back specifically for Ironheart, was it? Because his voice is 100% coming back. And if we're about to hear James Spader as Ultron in a couple months here, I'm a little more excited. Anyway.
It says he's set to return for Marvel's Vision series.
Oh, that's right.
Which was called, what's it says? Some other goofy name, just like Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. Yeah.
So stupid. But maybe he shows up before. I don't know.
Yeah. We also had Simu Liu say that we'd see Shang-Chi sooner than we'd expect. So I'm going to say Shang-Chi also, because, I mean, if sooner than we expect him in Doomsday. Sooner than we expect would be before Doomsday.
Right.
So White Vision,
so like maybe
Shang-Chi.
Thunderbolts
Or I guess that trumps it. He said we would see him sooner than expected, though, so I expect him somewhere. It could be Daredevil, dude. It could be Daredevil. He's in New York.
Yeah. Get a little calling wing, Shang-Chi. You know, I don't think they have any connection in the comics. They're just both Asian heritage, but kung fu fighters. But maybe.
Right.
I mean, Collins in New York, so
I can't guess another name that I find realistic. So I'm just going to leave it at that. White Vision and Shang-Chi. We'll see before Doomsday.
Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other thing you want to talk about?
Let me see. I'm just. Again, halfway through the casting release, I thought it was going to be Avengers versus X-Men for a second. It felt like so. I'm just super curious to see what they're going to do with that.
I guess we could mention X-Men are not in Secret Wars, so having a ton of X-Men for this is interesting. I assume it's just
in the comic run. Like there's no X-Men involved in it.
No, I take that back. Cyclops was one of the dudes that made it on the Life draft originally, but I want to say there's no other major X-Men, at least in the main roles there. So that I like your Avengers vs. X-Men theory. I think that is mainly going to be the next phase after Secret Wars, but we're going to see a lot of Avengers fight a lot of different X-Men characters. That's for sure.
Straight up, yeah,
versing each other.
It's got to happen at some point, I would imagine. So. But overall, I would just say, I think they kind of botched the announcement format and hyping it up yesterday. I think took a lot away from it. I think if you don't tell everybody you're going to have a bigger announcement than RDJ returning as Doctor Doom, that this would have landed a lot better. I think it would have been such a cool surprise to just wake up and see there's announcements and just keep seeing these names popping up. But when we had the anticipation, it kind of ruined it. And that's classic today. We spoil things instead of being genuinely surprised by stuff. So
seriously,
yeah.
Anyway, that wraps it up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time with some Daredevil coverage. And then we're going to have Charles Soule's Volume 3 of his Daredevil Back in Black arc, which introduces Muse. It's a really cool little comic there. And that, man, Muse showed up in Daredevil Born Again. That's exciting. So let's dig into his comic book background. Look out for that. And then, of course, more nerd news in our Week in Geeks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.